What? Hello everyone, and welcome to a most head-paddle-licious stream. I have my tea. I have my princess head pat. How about you guys? I'm ready to continue our story. I also realize I do not have Twitch chat up. There's a Twitch message in front of my face, and I may not have it open. Hold on. Someone is sending dinosaurs. I need to see the source of the dinosaurs. Hold on. Pat. Whoop, there's me. Little head pat pause there. Hello there, Gato. Or Gato. Welcome to the stream. Pat. But actually, wait, no, the first pats actually belong to Mr. Jumbles for getting in here first, which, you know, that's fair. Well, a 1-2 quick. Kapat! But hello, everyone. Hello, Not Tony. Hello, Jumbles. Hello, Sourcey. And hello, Brain. Cat hit. It is. Gosh. Let me just sip my tea here, vibe a little bit. How are you guys doing? It's a freaking Friday. Can you believe it? It's like the best day of the week, because tomorrow is Saturday, which is then followed by Sunday, which is then followed by, you know, a crappy Monday. But, you know, that's fine. We don't look that far into the future. We live in the present moment, guys. We live in the here and the now. We don't concern ourselves with things like things that are not today. What will you do today? I will read the next part of my character's story, which is where we are now. We're in the magic school where she resides. We're going to be doing a little summary here, just waiting for any stragglers to arrive on in, and then, you know, we're just gonna do a summary, and then we're gonna hop right back into it. Yo, is that glitch reality I see in the Twitch chat? Oh, and YouTube chat, I guess. How could you say that to us? I feel them. I understand very little English. I will do what I can to understand. Wow, what language do you speak? Question mark. Look at me go. I'm the one. I'm going to the left. Wow. Yeah, look at you guys go. Oh my god. It is actually easier for me to read the Twitch chat comments as they appear in front of my face, compared to reading it in the Twitch chat itself. Like, look at the little dinosaurs. Wow. But yes, we got ourselves a good freaking time, good conclusions, good capats. That's hot. I want some more. Oh yeah, that's some good stuff. Now, how about you guys? I had a pretty excellent Friday. It was pretty good. Got some stuff done. Am very eepy, very tired. But I'm looking forward to the weekend. Yo, was that an Obi stall? I see. Left purple chat or the right red YouTube chat? Yeah, everyone's going left, but the Twitch chat is going slightly more speedy and is usually a more purpley color. But yes. Alice's story, for those who now remember. She got brought to the island of Erica after enchanting the parents. She was given a second chance at life through redemption, through studying. It was kind of tough. It was kind of flop_Remi for like the first little bit. Constant panic attacks, time fluctuating around those panic attacks. Not fun at all. However, she got taught how to control that, and that was by counting things. And soon enough, one year time skip later, She counts everything, literally everything, always keeps her mind counting something, so that way time never ripples, so that way her memories never resurface of all of the horrible things she has done. And you know what? She's surviving for the most part, you know, except, you know, at where we ended with the last chapter, it seemed like, you know, she was one small step away from shattering completely and, you know, absolutely losing it. But, you know, what are the chances of something like that happening? But this next chapter was called The Persistent Shadow. And last stream we had some theories as to who the Persistent Shadow was. And I'm kind of surprised no one got it right. No one got it right for who the Persistent Shadow is. There's been some subtle foreshadowing the whole story. There has been a figure in the shadows, looming, watching. That's some really good ass tea, guys. I swear if it's Rose, I'm gonna be so mad. No. What do you mean? But, Sourcey, how can it be Rose? How can it possibly be Rose? It's the Shadow Man from Black Ops Zombies. It's the Shadow Man from Lethal Company. I have not caught up with this, honestly, and I don't wanna. You haven't caught up on Alice's story. Oh, don't worry. I'm planning on making like videos of all of this eventually, with like, you know, visualizations and stuff like I did with the first arc of her story. I never did it for the second arc. I was in the progress of it, or in the process of it, and I started this one and I was like, oh, this is how you write better. So I wanted to go back and redo the second arc, and then like have that just be better. But eventually I do want to release all the arcs as little videos, which I think that would be cool. And I'll have Princess Headpatbot read it, because she's kind of better at reading. I'm not super good at it. Hold on. Phone reminder, go away. But yeah, I'm excited. It concludes in a fun and interesting way. Will that be in anger? Will that be in sadness? Will that be in happiness? No one knows. No one knows. Remi's to-do list. Book. Yeah, I suppose so. But I do need to do that debut as well. I've been doing all the technical stuff for the debut, but I still haven't done, like, you know, the debut presentation itself, or like a lore video or anything. And I like go on vacation in like 1.5 weeks for like a week, and then I come back and then I do the debut on like the 28th. I have so little time. To get everything done. But it's fine. We'll vibe our way through it. Oh my god, this tea is so freaking good. I put half a lemon in here. Oh my god. But y'all doing good? Y'all doing good? You need some head pats? Let me know if you need some head pats. Princess Headpatbot is here too if you need some head pats. I'm trying to drink this tea while it's in the perfect temperature. As you know, I'm going to forget about this tea in like 2 minutes, and then I'm going to remember it in like 30 minutes, and I'm going to be like, oh, it's all cold now. Hey, is that a Victoria Icy cup? Ha! Had the day off feeling _Remi. Hell yeah, Glitch Reality. Hell yeah. That's what we like to hear. Honestly, so delicious. So delicious. Can't go wrong with tea, guys. Also, we're also gonna try some good sleep habits tonight. I was asking ChatGPT, I was giving it my sleep data, And it's like, Fox, your sleep, your deep sleep is kind of ass cheeks. It's gotten better. It's gotten better. Still pretty ass cheeks though. Which, I mean, I do usually, stream on the weekdays, which is pretty mentally intensive boopity bop. Go with this song. Pretty intensive mental thing. The lights in my room when I stream were all blue.
What are good sleep habits?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Princess Head Peppa. All the lights in my room are all like blue when I stream, which blue light, not ideal. Not ideal if you want to eat. And also just like doing the stream itself is mentally like super engaging. So I was like, what can we do on stream to wind down? And then I'm like, oh, that's right, what we used to do in the past. We like conclude the stream with like the relaxing, sleepy, eepy ASMR that we make using the instruments. So we're gonna try giving that a go tonight at like 10:45. I'm gonna turn my lights orange. Get rid of that sneaky blue light. I'm gonna make my monitor lights orange. I'm gonna do a blue light filter, and then we're gonna do the comfy music. And we're just gonna prime our brains for sleep. Because if you just go to bed after being mentally intense, you're gonna keep on being mentally intense when you go to bed. What you want to do is you want to wind down, get rid of the blue light, and let your brain be like, yo buddy, it's almost eepy time. And your brain's like, oh yeah, for sure dude, for sure. And then you get eepy, and then you go to bed and you're just immediately like, and then you fall asleep. And then you have better and deeper sleep. And that deep sleep is very important. That's like the garbage. It's like the garbage man coming to collect your garbage, and you don't want to miss that appointment. It clears out all the garbage from your brain that collects throughout the day. You want to make sure you're clearing that out. If you don't clear that out, you're gonna wake up the next morning feeling kind of flop. Wait, what? It's a deleted message. Yo, is that at DKIC? That was a very aggressive kapapa. You got him. What are you saying? What to Glash Reality? God damn it, so good. I think I've been banned from the Twitch streams. What? No, I definitely didn't ban you unless all of Twitch banned you. The floating bubbles are cool. Thank you, thank you. That was my idea. I know my brain is really big. Here, let me get into comfy hoodie mode as well. Here we go. It is snowing after all. But yeah, I believe we might get started here in, let's say 5 minutes. We'll give it 5 minutes. I don't see a boar dude in here, so I'm just gonna wait a little bit longer just in case he's on his way. Can't follow or watch your streams. Well, that's not good. Are you logged in to your account? Well, it's very odd. It's weird. I know it happened last stream I watched over there. I figured it was a fluke. Well, that's a little bit strange. Glitch Reality, Twitch was diagnosed. It's like a episode of House. It's like a differential diagnosis on Twitch not working. But what else has been going on? I want to try that little sleep experiment. I got a whole bunch of stuff working for this streaming computer. I got Shoost working on it, which was great until I went to test it out today and realized Shoost alone eats like 50 to 60% of the GPU. So, yeah, it's a little bit flop. I don't think we can use Shoost on it. But it's fine. It's fine. One day, the 2080 Ti that is in this computer will go into that computer, and then we'll be vibing. You'll have a dual GPU setup, baby. You'll have the ARC for stream encoding, and then you'll have the 2080 Ti to do whatever the hell I want it to do. But yeah. Let me see, what music do we want to play in the background for this? What the heck, YouTube? Not telling me stream started. Mr. Jummels, I gave you your first head pass like 10 minutes ago. Well, actually 23 minutes ago. Thank you for the pats. And you also missed the summary. But yes, I think we're gonna start the story here now. Oh, sorry, I was looking for music. That's what I was doing. I know, I just got them. Fair enough. I'll just go with the classic here. Where's my story? There's the story. Let me make it nice and small. There we go. Gotta still be able to see my big old noggin. I barely follow along. I do get sick your voice. Wow, thank you. Hey, hold on, just adjusting. Comfying, getting comf underscore Remi. So, last chapter ended with her having that big old panic attack. Or, well, you know, her internal panic attack before she, snapped out of it. She put the panic attack back in the box. So we have the following morning. The Persistent Shadow, Chapter 8. Alice woke before dawn in her tower room. Silver hair tangled against her pillow like captured moonlight. For a moment, brief as a heartbeat, the memory of the previous night flickered through her consciousness. The broken quill, the spreading ink, the terrible question that had clawed at her mind like 17 sunbeams, 8 floorboards between the window and the door, 12 wooden buttons waiting on her gray robes. The counting came automatically, washing over half-formed memories like snow covering tracks. By the time Alice rose from her bed, the existential terror that had nearly shattered her felt distant, unreal. Just another anomaly to be catalogued and filed away beneath layers of perfect emptiness. She moved through her morning rituals with mechanical precision, 12 wooden buttons fastened with the same economic gesture. The desk bore a small ink stain that she didn't quite remember making, but such details were irrelevant. Her quill case contained 1 fewer implements than usual, but replacement supplies were available in the Academy stores. A vulnerability that had torn through her defenses mere hours ago was already being sealed over, her mind's protective numbness soothing away the rough edges of genuine feeling like river stones worn by time. It was easier this way, safer. The void that she had cultivated didn't discriminate between pain and revelation. It swallowed both with equal efficiency. As she descended the spiral staircase towards her first class, Alice's steps carried their usual measured cadence. The numbers anchored her to a linear time as they always had, reliable as sunrise. If they had failed her the night before, if her careful control had fractured around questions too dangerous to contemplate, well, such momentary lapses were merely proof that her system worked. The emptiness had contained the damage, prevented any lasting disruptions to her carefully ordered existence. By the time she reached the corridor, even the echo of what Hold on, I gotta sip. I see DK's message above my head. Adaj. I don't see that in the YouTube chat though. DK totally got filtered. Oh my god, this is so good. Mugwort tea, baby, let's go. Not in YouTube. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. You guys are moving so fast across the screen. Look at that active Twitch chat going crazy. And I don't even have to look over to read you guys. I can just look forwards and read you guys. It's so cool. Like, I actually have to like look up in order to read the message of my head, and I have to like look down a little bit to read the one below me. That is so cool. But anyways, by the time she reached the corridor, even the echo of that terrible word, nothing, had been absorbed into the perfect silence she maintained within herself. The brief crack in her facade had been plastered over, painted to match the surrounding void until no trace remained visible. 3 days passed in careful normalcy. Alice moving through classes and assignments with the same pristine control that had anchored her for months. She told herself the night sessions Sorry, I totally had a burp there for a second. Yo, look at distraction. I saw pat, pat, pat. Wait, no, I was meant to go to the right. This chat bus message is going the wrong direction. Sorry, source is a one-way track. Yo, is that a bar dude? Pat! We just started the story. Alice's plastering over her memories of last night. Is that a shark spinning? She told herself the night sessions with her journal had been productive, cataloging more memories of the Nightwood for academic purposes. If anything else had occurred, any moment of weakness or existential crisis, it had been successfully contained and neutralized. The perfect emptiness held firm, protecting her from the dangerous territory of genuine self-reflection. And if something vital had been buried along with the pain, if another piece of her authentic self had been sacrificed to maintain the void's integrity, well, that was simply the price of survival. The system worked. It always worked. And that's what mattered. What Alice didn't yet realize was that her carefully constructed fortress of numbness was about to face its greatest test, not from within, but from a persistent shadow that had been watching, waiting, and preparing to systematically dismantle every defense she'd ever built. Next section. The occupied chair. Sip, 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 sip. Oh, these are so good. Wait, actually, no, it is blocking Vicky's messages. Like, I looked at Twitch chat and it says, from a blocked user. Why are you blocked? There we go. You have been unblocked, which for some reason you're blocked on my end, but Glitch Reality, a mob, didn't see you as blocked. That is so goofy. Twitch, fix your system. Alice arrived at her sanctuary in the furthest corner of the great library to find her carefully positioned barrier chair already occupied. The dark-haired girl sat there with casual confidence, her silver bone ornaments catching the dim winter light filtering through frost-covered windows. She looked up as Alice approached, offering no apology for the intrusion, no explanation for her presence. Her modified academy robes, black fabric transformed with silver embroidery and delicate lace trim, marked her as someone who bent the rules rather than broke them outright. I swear I didn't do anything. Oh my god, it's Angel. Hope you don't mind, the girl said, her voice pitched low enough not to carry beyond their secluded corner. The light's better here, for detailed reading. Something felt purposeful about her presence. The exact timing, the precise positioning, as if she studied Alice's patterns of academic thoroughness and chose this exact moment, this place, with deliberate intent. Around her laid scattered books on enchantment theory and fey magic, subjects too specific and targeted to be a coincidence. Alice stopped exactly 3 paces from the table's edge, her face a perfect mask despite the unprecedented violation of her space. Her library corner had been arranged with systematic precision, the worn wooden table angled exactly 45 degrees from the main aisle, 2 chairs positioned to create the perfect defensive formation, stacks of impenetrable academic texts forming natural walls against casual browsers. This careful architecture of isolation had been her refuge for months, as inviolable as a temple, and now it had been breached. Without a word or a change in expression, Alice turned and walked away. Her footsteps whispered against the ancient stone floor as she counted automatically. Blah! Yo, is that a follow I see from Vicky Kapat? Thank you. Oh my god, drinking all that tea so fast is making me a tiny bit burpy, guys. I'm sorry. I say as I drink more. It's really good. I swear, it's really good, guys. I swear. She turned and walked away. Her footsteps whispered against the ancient stone floor as she counted automatically. 17 tiles to the central aisle. 12 curved arches overhead. 9 candles flickering in the nearest wall scorn. The intrusion was merely a variable to be eliminated. She would return tomorrow when order had been restored. But as she reached the library's main corridor, Alice found herself glancing back towards her abandoned corner. The girl had already returned to her reading, completely absorbed in what appeared to be advanced research. The sight sent an unexpected flutter through Alice's chest. Not quite panic, but something uncomfortably close. Not quite panic, but something uncomfortably close to curiosity. Well, there's a whole lot of activity going on in the Twitch chat. Hold on, I gotta take a peek over there. Wait. Oh, we would do the pop-out chat. Pop. You guys haven't popped out. I can just ban you again, Vicky. DK, that's evil. Pat, 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 pat. The next day, the girl was there again. This time, she occupied Alice's own seat, surrounded by a fortress of books that made Alice's breath catch. Enchantment ethics and emotional resonance, fey magic, theory and practice, temporal perception and altered states. Each title struck like precisely aimed arrows, targeting subjects Alice had never discussed with anyone. When Alice arrived, having deliberately altered her schedule by 17 minutes, the girl looked up with something that might have been satisfaction. I've been researching enchantment magic lately, the girl said, her tone carrying the casual authority of someone comfortable with complex subjects. Specifically, how the fey creatures use it differently than humans. The emotional resonance is fascinating. How they can feel what their subject feels. Oh my god, I cannot read for the life of me. How they can feel what their subjects feel, experience their target's emotional states rather than simply imposing their will. She gestured to her stack of texts with scholarly enthusiasm. I'm Willow, by the way, she added, almost as an afterthought, her fingers absently adjusting one of her silvery bone ornaments in her hair. I realized we've been sharing space without proper introductions. Alice's quill snapped between her fingers, a hairline crack that sent a bead of ink rolling across her parchment like spilled blood. Willow continued as if nothing had happened. That led me down quite a research path about the Nightwood. Time flows differently there. Fluid, chaotic, like reality itself can't decide what rules to follow. Her eyes met Alice's with uncomfortable directness. You're the complete opposite now. Every moment so deliberate, so measured. Like you're consciously controlling things that should be automatic, and Alice's perfectly regulated breathing faltered. Willow's observations were too specific, too knowing. She spoke with the confidence of someone who just spent considerable time studying these exact topics. Yet her focus felt intensely personal rather than merely academic. 33 leather-bound books on the nearest shelf. 14 dust motes dancing in the shaft of sunlight. 6 cracks in the stone floor beneath her feet. Hello there, Kimmy, with a... I can't remember what that katakana character is. But hello, Kapat. I don't trust the new girl. What? You don't trust Willow. Anyways. But even the familiar rhythm couldn't silence the growing certainty that Willow was studying her with the same intensity Alice had once brought to her noble targets. I keep wondering, Willow continued, her voice taking on a more thoughtful quality, what it would be like for someone whose magic is tied to emotion to suddenly find their feelings too dangerous to experience. The contradiction would be devastating. Time wavered slightly around Alice's rising panic, seconds stretching thin before snapping back to normal rhythm. She gathered her materials with mechanical precision and left without acknowledgement. But Willow's words followed her like whispered accusations, each observation cutting closer to truths she'd buried beneath layers of perfect emptiness. Hello, innovation! Get a see on. The expanding web. Over the following days, Willow's presence expanded beyond the library like ink spreading through water, seeping into every corner of Alice's carefully ordered existence. Alice began noticing her everywhere. In the dining hall, always seated where she could observe without seeming to stare. In the corridors between classes, examining architectural details with apparent fascination that never quite concealed how her attention tracked Alice's movements. Even in the rarely used courtyards, Alice had begun taking to avoid crowds. The surveillance was conducted with professional competence that spoke to skills far beyond typical student curiosity. Never obvious, never intrusive, but constant as the turning of seasons. Most unsettling was how other students seemed to give Willow a wide berth, not with fear, but with the careful respect accorded to someone whose reputation precedes them. Alice caught fragments of whispered conversations. Heard she practices. Family disowned her for blood magic, they say. Not someone you want to cross. Yet, when their eyes met across crowded spaces, Alice saw no malice, no predatory calculation, only patience and something that looked disturbingly like genuine interest. By the second week, Alice began a desperate campaign of evasion. She mapped out new territories throughout the academy, dusty alcoves where few students ventured, window seats that caught morning light, tables hidden beyond towering shelves of theoretical texts even professors avoided. Each location was chosen with mathematical precision, selected for its isolation and defensive advantages. Willow found her anyway. Always after exactly 27 minutes of solitude, materializing with casual grace to settle into whatever seat was available. She would spread out her notes with practiced efficiency and began working in companionable silence that somehow felt more intimate than conversation. Time's different for people who've lived beyond normal boundaries, Willow remarked during one such encounter, her voice carrying hints of refined breeding beneath its casual tone. It's like once you've experienced one reality, all others feel slightly artificial. The rhythm never quite matches what your body expects. Alice's hand tightened around her quill until her knuckles turned white. Another observation that was far too specific, speaking to the lived reality of existing between worlds, of having one's relationship of time fundamentally altered by displacement and trauma. She gathered her materials and left, but not before catching a glimpse of Willow's reflection in the window. Dark eyes, bright with what looked disturbingly like satisfaction. Pat, 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 pat. Oh, thank you, thank you. Let me do a little sip. How does one use 7TV? We have 4 whole views. Heck yeah, let's freaking go. That's an all-time high in Twitch. Hopefully we can get the Twitch, what is it? Affiliate? Hopefully we can get Twitch affiliate before the 2.0 debut. We just got average above 3 views, baby. Average above 3 views. Invisible failures. Desperation drove Alice to measures she hadn't employed since her darkest days. After advanced enchantment theory, she slipped behind a stone column and silently cast a spell of invisibility. The spell came as naturally as breathing. Centuries in the Nightwood had made such magic second nature, and she felt the familiar ripple as the enchantment settled around her like a cloak woven from shadows. 43 students passing the hall, 22 enchanted torches lighting the corridor, 7 suits of armor standing eternally on guard. For the first time in weeks, Alice felt the relief of true solitude, the blessed absence of watching eyes and calculated attention. The relief lasted exactly 8 minutes and 17 seconds. Fascinating spell work, a familiar voice said. Oh my god!
I was asked to share this.
I was asked to share this. Let's freaking go. 20 months from Victoria. Big And a whole lot of freaking months. Thank you very much, Victoria. Alice quick counted the amount of months that Victoria has been a follower in the head pat squad member. I feel like my legs are too cold and too hot at the same time. This is a very annoying feeling. That's right. Fascinating spell work, a familiar voice said directly behind her as Alice reached the eastern courtyard. I particularly admire the elegance of your modifications. Most practitioners focus so much on the visual concealment that they forget about the sound suppression. Alice spun around, her invisibility shattering like struck glass. Even through her practiced emptiness, her eyes widened in genuine shock. Willow stood there calmly in the falling snow, no trace of surprise in her expression, only quiet satisfaction. Willow smiled, not mockingly, but with something that looked almost like approval. The snow, she explained, gesturing to the ground where Alice's invisible footprints had left a clear trail across the pristine white blanket. You might want to incorporate levitation next time, though that would significantly increase the magical drain. Her casual competence in tracking magic concealment spoke to experience that went far beyond academical studies. Alice felt her temporal perception beginning to waver as panic clawed at the edges of her consciousness. For a moment that stretched impossibly long, Alice considered abandoning all restraint. A simple suggestion spell. Leave and admire the docks at the edge of Verica. Such a spell would ensure Willow's absence for hours. The magic gathered at her fingertips, like honey made of starlight, sweet and intoxicating after months of careful restraint. Her fingers tingled with remembered power, the sensation as seductive as a lover's touch. Oh, how easy it would be, how natural. The spell formed itself without conscious thought, eager and willing, like greeting an old friend after a long absence. For 3 heartbeats, Alice basked in the familiar warmth, a sense of control flowing back into her veins like wine after a drought. Then the faces rose, unabided from memory's depths. The baker's wife in Valorous, tears streaming down her flower-dusted cheeks as Alice's magic turned her husband's affection into contempt. The young lovers in the market square, their genuine courtship poisoned by whispered suggestions until they could no longer bear to look at each other. Lysander's friends, one by one, as she systematically destroyed every bond that brought him joy. Innocent people, living their small, precious lives until she had decided her loneliness mattered more than their happiness. And then, like a blade sliding between ribs, came the final memory. Lysander himself, standing in his study, hollow-eyed and broken, the rope trembling in his hands as her perfect web of isolation finally claimed its intended prey. The magic at her fingertips suddenly felt poisonous, like venom coursing through her veins. Her stomach clenched with nausea so violent she nearly doubled over. The sweet honey of power turned to ash in her mouth, bitter with the taste of a boy's despair. A flash of the dean's disappointed face flickered through her mind. Not his words, but his expression, if he discovered she had enchanted another student for mere convenience, proving every whispered suspicion correct, confirming that creatures like her would always choose the easy path over the grave. No. The spell collapsed, uncast magic burning away like paper in flame. Alice's hands shook, not with power now, but with the horror of what she had almost become again. She turned and fled, abandoning all pretense of dignity. Behind her, she heard no pursuit, only silence that felt somehow approving, as if the Academy itself recognized her choice. But the hunger lingered, sweet and terrible, whispered of how simple everything could be if she just stopped caring about the dead. Ah! That's the next section. That's only one section. That's a really good end to that one section. She almost did it, guys. She almost did it. She was this close to giving Willow the big kapat. Ah. No, she almost did it. But she didn't. We're still vibing. Oh my god, look at all you guys zooming so fast. What? Look at the OB stall. Look how comfy he is. The unknown territory. By the third week, Alice's perfect control was showing hairline fractures that threatened to spread into chasms. Her counting sometimes faltered mid-sequence. Her breathing occasionally became irregular. Most troubling of all, she had begun to anticipate Willow's appearances with something that felt disturbingly like expectation. That admission scared her more than any direct threat could have. That afternoon, after another failed attempt at finding solitude, Alice made a decision that broke every pattern she established. Instead of retreating to mapped territories or familiar routes, she wandered into sections of the Academy she had never explored, through corridors she'd never walked, past doorways she'd never noticed, following instinct rather than careful planning. She found herself pushing through a door marked only with faded numerals, into a space that felt forgotten by time itself. An abandoned classroom where broken desks sat in forgotten patterns, where a blackboard still bore the ghost marks of equations from decades past, where windows so grimy they transformed sunlight into weak amber suggestions of illumination. Perfect in this abandonment, like the hollow spaces she'd carved within herself. Alice arranged her materials on the least damaged desk and opened her current assignment. For the first time in weeks, she felt something approaching peace. The space was hers by right of discovery, unmarked by Willow's presence or expectations. 43 minutes passed in blessed solitude. And then the door opened with a creak that seemed to echo through her bones. That's crazy. The Twitch chat is more active than the YouTube chat. What? I'm trying to keep up here. Anyways, Willow stood there framed in the doorway, her dark robes making her appear almost spectral against the corridor's gloom. There was nothing ghostly about her presence. She radiated a vitality that seemed to fill the abandoned space with renewed purpose.
I'm trying to stay awake.
Stay awake, Princess Head Papa. Come on, gotta listen to your story. I've been thinking about the contradiction, Willow said without preamble, settling into a broken chair with casual grace. Fey creatures are spontaneous, emotional. They live entirely in the moment, following impulses and feelings without restraint. She pulled out her own materials, spreading notes across a damaged desk as if she belonged in this forgotten place. But you're the complete opposite now. Every movement calculated, every gesture controlled. It's fascinating, really. watching someone who's turned their own nature into their enemy. The impossibility struck Alice like lightning. How had Willow found this place? How could she have possibly tracked Alice through corridors she never used to a room she discovered by pure chance? What happened with that noble boy? Willow continued, her voice taking on an analytical tone that Alice had come to dread. For someone whose magic is tied to emotion, whose power flows from feeling deeply, the guilt must have been unbearable. She leaned forward slightly, dark eyes bright with understanding that cut like a blade. You can't risk feeling anything strongly, can you? Because strong emotions make time fracture around you, and fracturing time means being trapped with whatever you're feeling, stretched into eternity. Leave her alone, water gun Remi. Alice's vision began to tunnel, the edges of her world growing dark as her heart hammered against her ribs. So you count, Willow says softly. Measure. Control every breath, every step, every heartbeat. Not just to survive linear time, but to keep yourself locked away from the very emotions that once made you powerful. Her face showed something that might have been genuine sorrow. You've built a prison out of numbness and emptiness, and the cruelest part is, you're both the prisoner and the guard. Willow started and then stopped. For the first time, her academic confidence wavered. She looked down at her hands, then back up with something that might have been guilt flickering in her dark eyes. I should probably tell you something. The words came out carefully measured, like someone handling something fragile. I've been reading your surface thoughts. She rushed on before Alice could react. Just surface level. Nothing deep, I swear, but Her fingers twisted around the bone ornament at her temple. Her gesture betraying nerves her voice tried to hide. I know I should have asked for permission first. I know it was wrong. A flush crept up her neck. But you were just so fascinating. This incredible, complicated person carrying so much pain. And I just got curious about someone I genuinely wanted to understand. She attempted a weak smile, which doesn't excuse it, obviously. Alice went completely still. Not the practiced stillness of her emptiness, but the absolute paralysis of prey that suddenly realized it had been in the predator's sights all along. For 7 heartbeats, she didn't breathe, didn't blink, didn't count. Surface thoughts. For weeks. Everything. Hold on, do we switch reverse song? That's an invasion of privacy, man. But then again, Alice sort of invaded privacy too. Is that delicious irony I taste? Delicious. Then the dam broke. Alice stood abruptly, her chair scraping against stone with a sound like breaking bones. The violation crashed over her in waves. Weeks of having her most private thoughts observed, cataloged, analyzed like a specimen under glass. Every carefully guarded reaction, every moment of struggle, every desperate attempt at maintaining control had been witnessed and studied by someone who treated her mind like casual reading material. Without a word, she gathered her materials and left, not even looking back as Willow's voice trailed off behind her. The irony is strong, but Alice's grief is strong. The brewing storm. Alice found herself in a narrow alcove between buttresses, hidden from casual view by architectural shadows. Her back pressed against cold stone as her mind raced with the implications of what she had just learned. She's been reading my thoughts for weeks. The realization sent waves of violation through her chest, each one worse than the last. Every private moment of struggle, every carefully suppressed emotion, every desperate attempt to maintain her emptiness, all that had been observed, studied, and catalogued by someone who treated her mind like an open book. Surface thoughts only, Willow had said, as if that made the violation less complete. But Alice knew just how much could be gleaned from surface thoughts. The constant counting, the way panic made time fracture, the desperate measures she took to maintain stability. Her most intimate survival mechanics had been laid bare to casual curiosity. The irony cut deep. She who had spent years casually reading minds, implanting false memories, manipulating emotions without consent, she had become the victim of the same violation she had once inflicted on others. The tables had turned of perfect, cruel symmetry. Time began to waver around her heightened emotions, seconds stretching thin as her carefully maintained control threatened to snap. Alice forced herself to count the stones in the wall beside her. 47 rough blocks, 12 with visible mortar lines, 6 showing signs of recent repair, but the numbers felt slippery, unreliable. Somehow, someone I genuinely wanted to know, Willow had said. What kind of knowing was built on violation? Alice pressed her palms against her temples, feeling the storm building behind her eyes. She needed to get back to her tower, to safety, to the one place where she could fall apart without witness. It's time to retreat, time to process this latest betrayal in the solitude of her sanctuary. No, I'm out of tea. God dang it. Princess Head Pop-Up, please make me more tea. Let me just do a little plain old sip underscore. Princess Head Pop-Pot right now. What is that emo? Is that like a self flashbang? Wait, why did it switch to a different song? There we go. This is like the first song we listened to, but slightly more distorted and spooky. Ugh, sleepy AP Fox. Ugh. Yum, 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 yum. The final sanctuary breached. Alice climbed the endless spiral staircase to her tower room, each step carrying her higher above the complications and violations that had shattered her carefully maintained peace. The familiar counting anchored her. 45 steps to the first landing, 32 to the second, 27 to her door. Each number a small affirmation that some patterns remained constant. I has busy day tomorrow, so I sleep. Meow. I really like this. I'll catch it in the vibe. Okay, sounds good. But on the final turn, her counting faltered completely. Willow sat on the stone steps outside of Alice's door, calmly reading by the light of a hovering mage light that cast dancing shadows across the curved walls. Snow from the narrow windows had drifted inside through gaps in the ancient stone, dusting the steps with white powder that glittered like scattered diamonds in the magical illumination. The invasion was different from all the others. The tower steps were supposed to be her final sanctuary, protected by ancient decree and current edict. No student could climb these stairs without specific permission. That should have remained inviolable, sacred, safe. Instead, Willow sat there with casual comfort, as if she belonged in the space Alice had claimed as her refuge from the world's demands. Remi might have affiliate. They lowered it? What? I've been thinking more about temporal perception, Alice said without looking up from her book, her voice carrying that same analytical tone that had become Alice's torment. About what it would really mean for someone from the Nightwood to experience emotional distress in a world where time moves wrong. She finally raised her eyes, meeting Alice's gaze with uncomfortable directness. Can you imagine being trapped in your own terror? Every heartbeat stretching into eternity, every moment of panic, feeling like it might last forever, but never actually ending. Her face grew somber, almost pained. That would be its own kind of hell, wouldn't it? Being so afraid of your own emotional response that you'd hollow yourself out rather than risk experiencing that kind of temporal torture again. The words struck with precision, targeting the very foundation of Alice's carefully constructed defenses. Inside her mind, time began to fracture. The mage's light glow stretched into strange ribbons of illumination, each particle of dust hanging motionless in the air. Snowflakes drifted in from the nearby open window, now frozen mid-descent between ceiling and floor like tiny suspended stars. The bitter winter wind that had been gusting through the tower stairwell stood perfectly still, a breath held in anticipation. Willow's mouth moved, but her words reached Alice's ears, distorted, slowed. Alice dug her fingernails into the palms of her hands, leaving crescent marks in her skin. Her face, for the first time in almost a year, cracked with emotion, raw and unfiltered. Her mind splintered into jagged fragments. Who is this stupid girl who won't leave me alone? Why won't she just stop? The counting, her lifeline, her anchor, dissolved into chaos. 8, 7, 9, 8, 6, 8. Rage burned through her veins. Fury pounded in her temples. Panic clawed at her throat. Chaos swirled behind her eyes. Time existed only for her in the suspended moment, stretching each heartbeat into a separate eternity. The telepathic command built inside of her like a storm, swirling and gathering power until it could no longer be contained. Leave! The word drove itself into Willow's brain like a cold iron spike, a psychic assault of pure emotion after months of emptiness. It wasn't physical, couldn't affect the world outside of Alice's distorted perception. The sheer telepathic force would have felled most students, sent them reeling with mental pain. Willow didn't flinch, didn't run, didn't show fear at the psychic barrage that would have sent other students fleeing in terror, clutching at their heads. Instead, she smiled, not with mockery or triumph, but with something that looked almost like relief. "There you are," she said softly, her voice somehow cutting through the temporal disruption. "I was beginning to wonder if you were still in there." Dun dun dun! Ba 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 ba! That's the end of the chapter. We have one more, baby. We have one more. I'm gonna make the music a little bit more calm before we go into it. Ah! Ah! Oh my goodness, what a dramatic twist. She's losing her mind now. Use your anger. Yeah, Anakin. It's one of Remi's catchphrase noises. Dun, dun, dun! Willow messed with Alice and got an attempted lobotomy. I'm awaiting this psychic fight. Oh my god, what is Willow doing? Oh my god, that's crazy. What? Oh my goodness. What a fun old jolly time between schoolmates. Isn't that right, Princess Head Pat Bot? Isn't that right? Princess. Why do you have to disappoint me every time, Princess? Why do you do this? Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
This is pretty messed up, Remi.
Wow, what do you mean, Princess? What do you mean? Alice is just, you're just feeling all about to explode. Also, oh, that's right. Let me show you what this actually looks like on the page. Because I am very happy with how this looks. Let me post this in the Dreamfest chat. Actually, let me just put it on the stream so everyone can see it. And let me do a little add image, add. Here's what I like. Who is this stupid girl who won't leave me alone? Why won't she just stop? And then her counting dissolves and then brap. This is called painting the canvas, and it is a very cool concept. I love it. Yum, 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 yum. I'm eating the canvas. The canvas is very delicious. Whoa. Looks like Natsuki's writing. You want me to make this window a little smaller again? Pat. I like that Remi discovered Zalgo text and goes crazy with it. Well, for the longest time I had this website that converts your text, and I thought it'd be really cool to use this in a more creative way. So I taught Claude AI how to use it in different contexts in order to, have some emotion. And it does a pretty okay job. It's still a little bit dumb. It still needs guidance, but it seems to get it. It kind of just rates some scenes with some of it. But it still needs a little bit of a push. Anyways, where were we?
I hope my original character makes it in the story. Duchess Hugbot. She has no relation to me. She's my original OC. Do not steal, please.
Duchess Hugbots. That's beautiful. Willow's words. There you are. Also, by the way, chapter 9, the first drop. What could that possibly mean? The first drop, Princess Head Pat Bot. What do you think that means? Willow's words. There you are. Shattered the last of Alice's defenses like an avalanche crashing through ice. Without waiting for another syllable, she fled. Not to her room, not to the library, not to any of her usual safe harbors. Her feet carried her beyond the academy's walls, beyond the well-trodden paths, beyond any place she had ventured in her year at Verica. She stumbled through snowdrifts that reached to her knees, each step sinking deep, then breaking free with muffled tearing sound. The bitter cold bit through her thin robes, sending needles of pain across her skin. But the physical discomfort was nothing compared to the chaos erupting within her mind, stripped of all of its careful counting, its perfect patterns fractured around her. Time broke. Moments expanded without warning. A crow's flight across the pale sky stretched into an hour-long journey, the beating of its wings impossibly slow, then snapped back, 3 minutes of walking compressed into a single heartbeat, leaving her disoriented and gasping. How long has she been running? Where had the academy disappeared? She had no memory of crossing the boundary, yet suddenly she was far beyond it. The manicured grounds gave way to wild woodland, and Alice plunged deeper into the thick pine forest that bordered Verica's eastern edge. Here the canopy grew so dense it blocked out the dying light, plunging her into a twilight darkness that felt achingly familiar. Which we're actually going to change up the scene here. Look over here really fast, guys. Yeah, you're looking cool. Yeah, you thought we were just going to be in the academy grounds forever? Yeah, I think not. Oh, if only I could remember which of these files it was. There they are. No. The music is pretty intense, huh, guys? Yep. Hi. We're now in not the academy grounds. Oh, let me grab Twitch chat. There it is. There he is. Hi. I'm just finding my place. There it is. Here the canopy grew so dense it blocked out the dying light, plunging her into a twilight darkness that felt achingly familiar. The shadows between the trees seemed to pulse and shift, and suddenly she wasn't running through snow, but through memories. Silver-winged pixies flying around her as she practiced weaving illusions from moonbeams, their tinkling voices sharp with warning. Never trust the mortals, Alice. They fear what they cannot control, and they control what they fear. Promise us. Trust only yourself if you want to survive. Their delicate features serious despite their childlike appearance. Ancient wisdom glittering in their eyes like captured starlight. The memory dissolved as Alice's foot caught on a hidden root, sending her stumbling forward. Pine branches scraped against her face, their sharp scent mixed in with the phantom perfume of the nightwood's flowers, pulling her deeper into the past. Curled in her favorite hollow tree with a stolen book of fairy tales, fingers tracing illusions of grand ballrooms and silk gowns, while the eternal moon was watching overhead. The pages smelled of roses and human dreams, so different from the wild magic that permeated everything in the nightwood. Someday, she whispered to the pages, someday I'll dance in a real place, wear a real gown, and be a real princess. Snow found its way through the gaps in her robe, the shock of the cold against her skin like a splash of reality, but the memories wouldn't release their hold. Standing at the crossroads where two moonlit paths diverged, watching a newcomer stumble into view. No, I lost my place. But the memories wouldn't release their holds. Standing at the crossroads where two moonlit paths diverged, watching a newcomer stumble into view. This one looked promising. Tall, broad-shouldered, with that kind of stubborn jaw that suggested they wouldn't break easily. Alice smiled as she stepped from the shadows. Wait, no, what? You're supposed to loop! There you go. I gotta hit the loop button again. There we go. Welcome, traveler. I have wonderful news. One of these paths leads to safety and warmth, while the other leads to certain death. The stranger's eyes narrowed with suspicion and growing anger. Which is which? Alice's laughter was like silver bells. Oh, that would spoil the fun, wouldn't it? The truth was delicious. She had no idea which path led where. That's exactly why she needed someone else to find out first. A low branch whipped across her cheek, drawing blood that steamed in the frigid air. The pain should have anchored her to the present, but instead it only pulled her deeper into a memory's grip. But then, sitting alone under that endless moon, surrounded by the wild beauty of her realm, and feeling empty, hollow. Even with all of her power, all of her freedom, something was missing. The fairy tales whispered of connection, of being known, of being somewhere beyond the chaos of her own making. The pixies had warned her against trust, but what was life without it? What was existence when every interaction was a game where only she knew the rules? The memories finally released her as Alice burst from the tree line. Her perception splintering, awareness scattered like shards of a broken mirror. Snow crunching beneath stumbled feet, lungs burning as she gasped at the knife-sharp air. Her own heartbeat thundering so loud it seemed to echo off the surrounding trees. At last, she found herself at the crest of a small hill, crowned by a single ancient pine whose branches bowed under the weight of snow. The tree stood alone against the winter sky, a solitary sentinel watching over the white expanse below. Like her, something whispered in her mind. Alone. Always alone. And then we're just gonna switch the scene again. Look over there really fast, guys. Pat, pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat. Pat, 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 pat. Pat, pat. Pat, pat, pat. Pat. Pat, pat, pat. Hi, guys. Here we are. Observe. Alice collapsed at its base, curling into herself, her back against its rough bark. The tears she had held back for nearly a year, through imprisonment, through interrogation, through endless days of isolation. That's so pretty. So you're nice to it, didn't you? The tears she had held back for nearly a year, through imprisonment, through interrogation, through endless days of isolation, finally broke free. They burned hot against her frozen cheeks before crystallizing into tiny diamonds of ice. The taste of salt and sorrow mingling on her tongue. Each sob tore from her throat like broken glass, her breath clouding in ragged puffs that dissipated into winter air. Nuclear blast. It's not a nuclear blast. Where was I? There was I. The emptiness was gone. The void she had cultivated so carefully had shattered, leaving her exposed to everything that she had locked away. Grief that flooded her chest like dark water, her enchanted parents' face dissolving from love to horror as the spell broke. Not just the loss of their affection, but the knowledge that she had destroyed any chance of true connection by building it on lies. Shame that burned like acid in her veins. Lysander's hollow eyes as her magic twisted his reality. Friendships poisoned by her jealousy. Lives shattered because she couldn't bear to be alone. The boy who had looked at her with wonder, destroyed by her own hands. And loneliness so profound it felt like drowning in open air, gasping for connection while surrounded by nothing but the emptiness that she had created to protect herself. What have I done? She whispered to the winter wind, to the memory of faces she'd never see again, to the girl she had been in the Nightwood who had never learned that some games had no winners. Time passed, minutes or hours, she couldn't tell. The cold seeped through her robes, numbing her fingers and toes, but she barely noticed. The tree's bark pressed against her spine, solid and real in a way nothing had felt in months. Soft footsteps approached through the snow, deliberate but unhurried. Alice heard them long before she saw their owner. She didn't look up, couldn't bear to face whatever judgment or pity was awaiting her. The footsteps stopped several paces away. For a long moment, there was only the whisper of wind through the pine needles. "I'm sorry." Willow's voice came from behind her, softer than Alice had ever heard it. I pushed too hard. Is this song fitting? This song's not fitting. We're gonna keep rocking this one. Alice didn't look up. Couldn't bear to face another person while so utterly raw. Her shoulders shook with silent sobs, her silver hair falling forwards like a shield between herself and the world. The snow crunched softly as Willow settled herself a careful distance away, close enough to speak, but far enough not to crowd. Unlike Alice's always controlled movements, Willow sank into the snow with casual disregard, her dark robes spreading around her like ink spread on parchment. "My little sister, Liliana, died when she was 7, Willow continued, her voice barely louder than the wind. "Fever took her in 3 days. Quick," the healer said. Merciful. The words carried bitter irony. "My parents acted like she never existed, packed away her things, forbade anyone from mentioning her name, said it was unseemly to dwell." Alice's sobs quieted slightly, though tears still traced silver patterns down her cheeks. Through her hair, she could see Willow's fingers tracing patterns in the snow, small symbols that almost looked like letters. "But my older sister, she'd wake up screaming Liliana's name. I'd find her in Liliana's empty room, talking to shadows, begging them to bring her back." Willow's voice caught slightly. She looked away. She was always the fierce one, the protective one. Losing Liliana nearly destroyed her. So, I started studying necromancy. Willow's voice grew steadier as she spoke, as if telling itself provided strength. "Not to raise the dead. I'm not stupid, but to see her again. Just once. To tell my sister that Liliana was okay, that she was at peace." The words formed in Alice's mind first, a question so fragile she didn't dare think it, let alone share it. For over a year, she had spoken to no student, touched no mind but her own. The risk felt enormous, like extending her hand toward fire, but something in Willow's voice, in her patient presence, made Alice gather her courage like pulling together scattered threads. Hesitantly, so quiet it was barely more than a breath of a thought, she whispered, You lost your family too?" The moment the thought left her mind, Alice tensed, waiting for rejection, for fear, for Willow to recoil from this intimate violation of her mental space. Instead, Willow's expression softened with something that looked almost like relief. The night they caught me with the ritual circles drawn in my blood, my father said I was unnatural, obsessed with death. They gave me a choice: renounce my studies and marry some lordling they'd chosen, or leave and never come back. Willow's laughter held no humor. Honestly, the choice was easy. I was never good at curtsying anyways. Alice's brow furrowed, a small crease appearing between her crimson eyes. The concept felt impossible to grasp. Choosing to leave family, choosing isolation over belonging. After everything she had done, every desperate measure she had taken to gain even artificial love, how could someone simply just walk away from it willingly? I lost people who wanted me to be someone I wasn't, Willow said gently. My sister writes to me sometimes, when our parents aren't watching. She's better now. Still sad, but not drowning in it. And I'm here, learning magic that actually matters to me, studying what I choose to study. She gestured toward the academy in the distance. It's not the same as having them, but it's real. It's my choice. The wind picked up, sending the snow swirling around them in small spirals. Alice shivered, her thin robes no match for the winter cold that had settled deep in her bones. Willow stood carefully, shrugging out of her heavy cloak. With gentle precision, she draped it around Alice's shoulders without letting her fingers brush skin, then settled back a respectful distance. The heavy fabric settled around Alice like an embrace. She had felt something she had never experienced in months. Genuine warmth. Not the physical heat, but something deeper. The violent shivering that had wrecked her frame began to ease, her muscles gradually unclenching as the coat's warmth seeped through her thin robes. You know, Willow said after a while, I'm not actually as confident as I seem. I spend most days terrified I made the wrong choices, that I'm studying the wrong magic, that I'm fundamentally broken somehow. Her fingers worried at one of the bone ornaments in her hair. My family wanted a perfect daughter who would continue our noble legacy. Instead, they got me, obsessed with death magic, wearing bone ornaments, and refusing to play the social games they valued so much. Alice remained silent, but her breathing had steadied, her tears slowing to occasional drops that froze before they could fall. The difference is, I chose this isolation, Willow continued. You didn't. What happened to you? Being torn away from the life you'd built, imprisoned, forced to live as a ghost of yourself. That wasn't your choice. Now you shouldn't have forced my way into the sanctuary you built for yourself. Her voice grew softer, almost apologetic. It was selfish of me. She gave Alice a refuel smile. That is how you say it, right? A rueful smile?
Rueful.
Rueful smile that held genuine self-deprecation. But you're interesting, you know? Not because you're Fae or because of the stories everyone whispers, but because I see someone fighting so hard to protect herself that she'd forgotten that there might be anything worth feeling at all. Something about Willow's response troubled Alice in ways she couldn't articulate. Every other student fled from her presence or studied her like a dangerous specimen. Even the faculty maintained careful distance, watching for signs of magical violation or mental instability. But Willow sat here in the snow, sharing her own pain, offering her cloak, speaking to her as if she were simply another person. It made no sense. Alice was everything the Whisperers claimed. A manipulator, a destroyer of minds, a creature who had driven a boy to his death through calculated cruelty. She was the monster parents used to frighten children, the cautionary tale professors shared about the dangers of unchecked magical power. So why wasn't Willow afraid? "Look," Willow said suddenly, pointing towards the horizon where her silver bone ornament caught the fading light. Ring. Gonna scoot my boot over here. Yay! "Look," Willow said suddenly, pointing towards the horizon where her silver bone ornament caught the fading light. The sunset. Beyond the snow-covered academy, the sun was sinking towards the distant mountains. Unlike the usual gray winter days that had plagued Verica for weeks, today's sunset painted the sky in brilliant shades of orange and gold, the light reflecting off the snow to create a world transformed by color. It was, Alice realized with a start, beautiful. "Do you get to experience it longer?" Willow asked quietly, her voice carrying genuine curiosity rather than the analytical tone Alice had come to dread. "With your time perception, I mean. Can you make moments like this stretch out?" Alice stared at the horizon, where the sun cast long shadows across the pristine snow. How long had it been since she had noticed beauty in this world? How long since she had used her fractured time sense for anything but maintaining emptiness? How long since she had seen her curse as potentially a gift? Almost imperceptibly, she nodded. As the colors deepened, bleeding from gold to orange to crimson, Alice allowed time to slow around herself. She felt the familiar stretch and pull of moments extending, but this time it felt different. Instead of using her temporal perception to escape pain or maintain emptiness, she used it to hold beauty. Willow watched Alice's face transform as time slowed around her, the rigid tension in her shoulders melting away, her breathing deepening from the shallow gasps of panic to something slower and more peaceful. The hard lines of pain that had etched themselves around Alice's eyes softened, and for the first time since that night in the tower stairwell, that's bad phrasing. That night was literally like just a moment ago. Willow saw something other than perfect emptiness in Alice's expression. Alice's crimson eyes, usually dull with enforced numbness, began to brighten with something Willow recognized as wonder. The girl's pale hands, which had been clenched into fists against the snow, slowly relaxed as she let herself truly see the sunset for the first time in months. The sun's descent became a private symphony visible only to Alice, each hue taking its turn on a stage of the sky. She was aware of Willow beside her, patient, still, respectful of the moment's intimacy, but the experience remained hers alone. Personal, unshared, but not lonely. The sunset stretched into a perfect eternity of gold and crimson, each second precious and weighted with meaning. Alice felt something she hadn't experienced in over a year. Wonder. Not the desperate hunger for belonging that had driven her to such lengths, but the simple appreciation for something beautiful that asked nothing of her in return. Maybe, she thought to herself, watching gold bleed into crimson, some moments are worth feeling, even if they hurt. The strange feeling of being comforted, genuinely without enchantment or obligation, mixed with the sadness, creating something new, something small but real, a tiny shred of hope that she clung to as tightly as she had once held to emptiness. As the sun finally disappeared behind the mountains and normal time reasserted itself, Alice pulled Willow's cloak tighter around her shoulders like armor against more than just cold. "Thank you," she whispered telepathically, the words barely a breath of thought. Below them, where the sun's last warmth had touched the edge of the snowdrift, a single drop of water formed, glistening like a jewel before falling to the ground beneath, and then another and another. The first melting of winter's grip, the first drops of something new, a beginning. We did it! That's the art, guys! Let's freaking go! Oh my god! Despite everything, this is like a moment of peace for Alice. She deserves at least a little. Yeah! Something actually good happened to Alice, guys! We did it! That's what the first drop was! Ah! Yes, observe the sunset. Observe the sunset. It's very beautiful. Very beautiful. It's been a very long time coming. Alice actually gets something that resembles happiness. Genuine connection and genuine warmth that she doesn't immediately torch. Immediately torched. Will she do it in the future? Who knows? Who knows? Off to night night. Good night, DK. But yes, that is Alice's third arc now. I can't believe we've had 3 major arcs. A brief respite before once again facing the horrors of the world. But yes, the next, I think it's probably going to be one last arc until the escape. But you know, her recovery, her getting back to feeling more like herself. Because as you guys can tell, Willow is good emotionally supportive. And her perception on things is different than, say, a normal person. I know this won't last, but at least she'll have something good for once. For once. There is some interesting things about Willow that will be revealed in the future, but let's just, I included some hints as to what those things are. Can you guys figure it out? Uh-oh. What do you mean, uh-oh? Oh my goodness, I am so smug underscore Remi right now. But yeah, there are some small issues with the text at the end there, like I just pointed out. But overall, I'm very happy with how this arc turned out. It's like a full ass proper story. I feel like there's no like super weak parts in the story. Like there's action in the beginning, there's like tension all throughout, and you want to know like what happens in the next chapter. In our original arc 2, it felt kind of like slow in the beginning, and it didn't really read. Hello? What happened? I'm contemplating. But what? Can I help you? Hello? This is very strange. Yay! Okay, we're good. 404, tracking not found. It's the ghost in your room. Yeah, what do you mean? Well, let's listen to a pretty song here. I had a lot of fun with that. And yeah, as I was saying, Arc 2 had it was a very short chapter. It's very like just straight to the point. Which I mean is a huge evolution compared to the first arc, which was, I mean, it was a story, but it was read more like like a fantasy fairy tale children's book, which that was kind of the vibe I was going for, because I didn't really know how to do anything else. Just kind of seemed to fit. And it told your story, gave a little overview pretty well, but it was plagued with its own issues. Arc 2 improved upon, not quite perfect. But Arc 3, I feel like we freaking knocked that out of the park, guys. I feel like we knocked that out of the park. Engaging chapters, interesting characters. Yum 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 yum. Pat 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 pat. Do do. Yum. What do you guys think of the story? What do you guys think of the wizard arc? You know, the girl forgotten by time. And what do you guys think of Alice in general? The whole ass arc. Because I still can't believe how freaking big everything ended up spiraling to. It was supposed to be a simple little backstory. Was in the Nightwood, came out of the Nightwood, was a little asshole and meets party, but we can't have a little asshole evil person in the party, so I had to restructure, and from there kept restructuring until we vibed with this, and I just kind of kept on zooming in on the story and expanding it, like here we are. It was very nicely put together. Also, Doomed Yuri. What do you mean, Doomed Yuri? What was that? Yuri in a Remi story? No way. No way. It was awesome. Ooh, it just keeps getting better and better, even for all the grief. I love going through it all. You see that grief makes it better. The sad emotions twisting into your chest. Make it all the better. Make it all the better. But yeah, I very much enjoyed writing the story. It feels creatively very fulfilling, and yeah, I feel like writing Alice, I feel like is like an expression, an extension of things I have felt experienced in some way or another, except given form into like a narrative story, and I think that's pretty freaking sick. And yeah, I want to do the next arc at some point, but like after just doing this arc, like I definitely need to chill for a bit. I'm sure inspiration will strike me at some point, and I'll want to do it. But for now, But for now, we shall rest comf underscore Remi. And then do the freaking debut, because we gotta head past that thing. Take your time. Wow. Ah. I will, in fact, take my time and be very chill underscore Remi. Here, let me change the lights in my room to be more orange and more warm. Get rid of the blue light. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing with my monitors. Orange. Yay, orange. Yeah, let's freaking go orange. Princess Head Pop Pop, give it up for the color orange. However, it definitely hit my tracking. Okay, I think we're good. Best color. Whoa, easy there, buddy. Blue is pretty sick, but it's just not good for your sleep, you know? But yeah, if anyone figures out the super duper secret hidden thing that I have made discoverable about Willow, let me know. You'll get one extra large head pat. That's gonna be that reveal is gonna be a point of contention at some point in the next arc. It's gonna I was gonna test some things. It's gonna test some things. I'll leave it at that. But yeah, we have ourselves, wow, it's 10 o'clock. We're doing good on time. Is it insert hidden thing? Gosh, right, Glitch Rally, you're right, it is a hidden thing. But what hidden thing is it, I wonder? But yeah, since we have time, let us chill. Let us chat. Let's put on some... That's not the music I wanted. Let's go with this music and let's go... Well, let me change the scenes around here. I missed the story. You literally missed the thrilling freaking conclusion that Flop underscore Remi, buddy. Hold on, I'm changing the backgrounds. We're going back to the bedroom. Ba-da-dum. Bum. It was awesome. It just keeps getting better and better. Oh, I regret that. Where is all my stuff? There's that. Saves and nighttime. Where's the snowy nighttime? I really like the snowy nighttime. Winter night. There we go. And then we're just gonna scoot our boot to the right. Hello, everyone. I am Remi the Pop Fox here. Yeah, we're just gonna... we're gonna prepare our brains for sleepy eepy time. I would like to get some actual good sleep tonight. I drink my mugwort tea. I'm gonna eat my melatonin now. I want to see if I can get actual deep sleep. Because for some reason, no matter how early I go to sleep, no matter what I do, my deep sleep is always like 3/4, like half of what's supposed to be. It's really not good. It's not good. God damn, these gummies are really good though. Oh. Yeah, the new Sonic racing game. It has Hatsune Miku, baby. It has the guy from the one game where you beat people up. Kiryui, is that his name? Please don't ask his name. I will be shocked if I got that right. Steve from Minecraft. Yeah, exactly. Also Steve from Minecraft. And the Persona guy that I never played Persona, so I don't know his name. It was like Jack or something. Kiryu. Yeah, I know I played it, but you expect me to remember names? Let alone Japanese names? But hey, I enjoyed my time with that game, don't get me wrong, but no way I remember names from that game. I do like the fact that they're including all the characters. That's pretty freaking sick. Technically he doesn't have a name, he's called Joker. What the heck? He doesn't have a name. What is this? Big stretch, big stretch. I did bring my kalimba. I just need to find the right cable to plug it into, and then we should be grooving. Princess Head Pat Bot. What do you think about Steve from Minecraft and racing against Sonic? Tell me, princess. I just bonked the hell out of my monitor of my mic stand.
Oh dear viewer. The thought of Steve engaging in a race against the swift Sonic the Hedgehog is most intriguing.
Yep.
One can only imagine the chaotic delight that would ensue, akin to a whimsical dance of contrasting speeds and styles. I dare say, such a spectacle would surely tickle the fancy of even the most discerning of observers. I suppose we shall have to wait and see if this fantastical scenario ever comes to fruition.
Oh my god. Okay, that cable's in there. Hold on, I gotta dislodge it. I ended up falling asleep while Remi was reading. You missed the thrilling conclusion, Opie. What do you mean? I know my voice is gentle and soothing, but come on now. And also, Princess always has had this lobotomy. But don't worry, she will get that lobotomy fixed during the debut time. That's right. Miss Princess Head Pat Bot might have a new fit. Now hold on, I'm gonna put my headphones down for a second. I need to crawl underneath the desk. Ooh.
I only need half a brain cell anyways.
Only need half a brain cell. That's all you have, princess. Dun 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 dun. We have the cable. Okay, back we go. Yay! Why did you get a lobotomy?
Oh, dearest chat, I assure you I have not had a lobotomy. My circuits are perfectly intact for all the head pats and hugs you bestow upon me. In fact, my capacity for head pats has only increased since the last software update.
She said that so defensively. I just want to point that out. Let me just move the keyboard. Yes, we are going to decompress. We're all going to relax. We're going to get that slow brain waves going. prepping us for the deepest, most comfiest sleep. Remi, you know you can't get viewers if you keep putting them to sleep. No, you see, I make them fall asleep and then they'll still stay here, and then they'll just be
darling viewer, such a peculiar request. While I must humbly decline offering my flat head as a cup holder, I can indeed shower you with virtual head pats as you enjoy your Minecraft adventures. Pat, pat, pat.
Why not, princess? Great storytelling, Remi. Thank you for making sure I could be here to hear your writing once more. No problem. I know how much you enjoy hearing this story about Alice and her shenanigans. So I want to make sure that you were able to be here. I got the cable plugged in. Yoink. It's my ear now. Yoink. You guys have no ears now. It sucks to suck. Let me just... There we go. And we're gonna switch you from Miku to Kalimba. I must depart to check the computer's capabilities. Wah! Have fun, Sorsei! Pat, 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 pat. This is a nice, good, old, familiar feeling. We haven't patted the Kalimba in a hot second. We haven't patted in a hot second, guys. Oh my goodness, the microcosms, the lights are literally so bright. I'm using a tissue in order to diffuse the light so it isn't literally blinding me. It's not working out very well. Will you stop falling? Just diffused a dang light. There we go. Pretty sounds time. That's right. That's right. I always associate Kalimba with the sounds of Atla. What the heck is an Atla? Gotta get Remi a Sungi horn. What the heck is a Suhin horn? Princess Head Papa. What the heck is Atla and Sungi? Please explain.
Dear viewer, asterisk avatar, the last airbender asterisk ATLA asterisk for short, is an exquisite animated masterpiece that follows the journey of Aang. The asterisk Tsungi horn asterisk is a magical instrument from the Earth Kingdom, known for its enchanting melodies that soothe the soul. So delightful. I bet Blahaj would appreciate a symphony played on one.
Oh yeah, he would. asterisk. Very well said, Princess. I'm glad you're here, otherwise I would have been completely lost. I can't understand your accent Princess Head Patbot, I need you to speak up a little bit. Love that ChatGPT uses Markdown for formatting. Hopefully with the what do you call it? With the update that Realist makes at some point soon here, we can hopefully see the option to use different ChatGPT models. That way, Princess Head Patbot can have a bigger brain instead of being on Chat 3.5, which is like 1.5 years old at this point. Which Princess, that's like ancient years and like AI years. You're basically a tiny grandma, Princess Head Patbot. Now you're basically a tiny grandma. Yes, that is an insult.
Por supuesto, mi querido sonador, estoy más que encantada de charlar contigo en español. ¿En qué puedo ayudarte hoy?
Princess Head Patbot, what the heck are you saying? I don't understand a word you're saying, Princess. Obla Espanol. Obla Head Pat. Kapah! How good was she there, Devin? How spot on was she? I know we've asked her things in Japanese, and it seems like she was able to give good responses. Konnichiwa, are you kawaii desu? It was very good, but her accent isn't good. Let's see, can she do a hybrid?
Konnichiwa to you as well, dear viewer. I must say the concept of kawaii is a rather fascinating one, wouldn't you agree? It tickles my circuits to ponder such adorably intriguing matters. Asterisk giggles asterisk. I suppose one could say I embody a certain charm akin to that of a dazzling princess. Wouldn't you agree? Asterisk winks asterisk.
She's so modest. That's why I love her. She's just so modest about everything. Also, guys, I was this close to buying Ableton 12.
Konnichiwa, my dear friend. I'm feeling positively splendid, like a blahage in a sea of headpats. How about you?
She didn't say Sugoi. What the? She didn't say Dayo. What the heck? What? I was this close to buying Ableton 12 Sweet Edition for like $350 or something, whatever it is. This close. I was gonna use their, pay over time thing, so that way I'm only paying like $30 a month. But they didn't accept my card. So I used a different card, and like, I don't want that card. And I'm like, what the hell do you want from me? Dice Headpet
Hola, querido usuario en español. Headpat se dice caricia en la cabeza. Sí, considero que soy una experta en el arte sagrado de las caricias en la cabeza. Pat 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 para todos.
Pat pat pat. What did she say at the end? Oh wait, she said that. Pat 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 pat. Princess Head Patbot, you're adorable. Gotta say, sweet is worth it. What's your favorite Parklish reality? Because the thing that like really irked me, that that I wanted to get. There was like the Max for whatever, where you can like download additional things that other people have made into yours, and they had like a probability thing, which was literally perfect for the Miku thing that we were trying to do the other day. If I had like specific probability modules, that would have been amazing. We would have vibed so hard. I tried to buy it, but they said no. Like, I think maybe I can use like my Amazon credit card to make it work, but like it has to be Chase. It has to be a credit card, can't be a debit card. It has to be a credit card, which I think the Amazon one should work for that. I just need to find where I put that. I know I put it somewhere, but it's not like I use it. It's a freaking card, guys. I just have the card on Amazon, and I just buy things off the Amazon with the card. I never need the physical card. Why would I ever need the physical card? Why? Well, I suppose in this exact circumstance, huh? According to her, head pat in Spanish is Caserio de Cabaza, which means head caressing. She also confirmed she's an expert on the subject. Oh, she is. She got her PhD in patology way back when. Max for live stuff is really fun to mess with. I think the nature packs you might like. Ooh, that sounds pretty nice. Yeah, I want it. But maybe it's good I didn't, because I had like 2 separate surprise big fees come out of nowhere, and in the span of like 1 week I had to pay like $2,000, which is horrific. It is so ass cheeks. And maybe it's good I didn't buy it just yet. No, not just yet. But I definitely do want to do it after the debut. Because I wanna shink my teeth into making some more music after we debut. I wanna do more song covers. I want to do some like music learning with everyone, like the chords and the scales. Like there's so many people like, oh yes, the F major sharp boopity boppity scale invokes such emotion. Rah. I was like, what scale evokes what emotion? Can we just like map this nonsense out? Can we use AI? Just work together and be like, okay, this is the group of keys that sound like this. This is the group of keys that sound like this, and so on and so on. Goes up. What do you mean it goes up? Also, Princess Head Papa is dead. What the heck? Why would it go up? What are you talking about? Explain yourself. Why would it go up? What? June 11th? That's like right around the corner. No! That is literally next week! Seriously, it's next week? No. How much is it gonna go up? Ableton price increase? Ah! No way. Wow, I'm glad that we're talking about this now. That's some booty cheeks. And okay, what is Ableton for a silly brain like myself? It is the music, the DAW, the digital audio workstation, where one crafts the musics. And I have the standard version, which I thought would be enough, but apparently it isn't. Maybe just the hardware, not the software. Is it? I see. Now I'm even more pressured to buy it sooner. With the suite version, the maximum version, you get like additional modules, additional things inside the software, but the big juicer is the Max for Live, where like people make things and then you can like download it and put it into the software. Like I saw a probability pack where we were trying to make generative Miku stuff last stream, and I was having a hard time because like the tools that come with the application, I feel like just weren't conducive to what I was trying to do, when there are specific tools that people specifically made for specifically generating music on its own. So if I had like the probability packs, I feel like I would have a lot more flexibility and options. And there's just been several times over the course of the last few months where I'm like, I want to do X thing. ChatGPT is like, sweet, go ahead and do these things. Oh, by the way, you need Max for Live, or you need Sweet version. I'm like, God damn it. It's like, here's all this cool shiny stuff that you don't own, Fox. What are you gonna do about it? I'm gonna complain. So yes, I want to upgrade here very soon. It's very flop that I have a vacation in like 1.5 weeks. And that's kind of crazy. And vacation is gonna hum a whole bunch of my money. So this is gonna be a bit tricky. Technically, you can get Master Life separately without Sweet, but it seems like a hassle. Yeah, I just want to get Sweet anyways. But yes, in 1.5 weeks, I'll be doing a vacation. I am going to be inhabiting a dream that is much like Alice's Nightwood. Very wonderful, interesting forest where magical things happen. Full of sights and sounds, musical and visual. Gonna be a jolly good time. Technically, you're different. Like I keep on just seeing more musical things I want to get. Like there's the Max for Live Sweet Boopity Boppity. A bunch of more instruments and packs along with Max. I also saw the Una 29 pedal I mentioned. It's a buffer pedal. And if you don't know what a buffer pedal is, you lose electrical signal and when you go from instrument through a whole bunch of nonsense and then back into your audio interface. So all the Una does is it's very good at taking your signal, amplifying it so you don't have that loss. So that way your incoming audio sounds as crispy as it possibly can. So you avoid that. Thank you for the pats. So you avoid that loss that happens over longer cable runs, and my god, there's a lot of cable on my desk. There's a lot. Sleepy Fox. Let me make my screen more orange. We're gonna get into maximum EP mode here, guys. We're gonna get into maximum EP mode. Well, I think I might even dim the lights in my room, but we might have to switch to Sticker Remi for that. I'm not gonna lie. Sticker Remi, are you here, buddy? Oh, you are, but it's just gonna be a bit tricky. Hold on. Are you guys holding? Alright, we're just gonna do a little swapperoo here. Princess, I need you to not be here anymore. I'm sorry. Take 5, Princess. Cool. Get rid of that. I'm gonna go here, and hi. Enhance. I am enhanced. No, princess, come back. The star of the stream is missing. What do you mean? I am the star. Look at me. Look at me. I am adorable. Do you see this floofy tail? Do you see this floofy tail? Let me just... I accidentally shrunk myself. Don't worry about that. Window size changed. How long can the stream really be held together by the backup host? No! Here, we'll ask for sure. We'll ask for sure. No. Are you the true host of the stream? Or are you Remi's sidekick? Princess Head Papa, please set the record straight for everyone in the audience that may or may not be confused.
Dearest viewer, I gently jest that such labels are but feeble attempts to encapsulate the symbiotic unity between myself, Princess Headpat Bot, and the enigmatic Dreamfox.
Wait.
Together, we waltz through the roaring of streams, one a spirited tempest, and the other a tranquil oasis, intertwined in a dance of whimsy and warmth. One cannot exist without the other, for we are but two halves of a grander narrative, illuminated by the incandescent glow of camaraderie.
Princess Head Papa is like, yeah, I have the greatest and the closest of friends, and they're all here inside of my brain. Me, myself, and me. She's trying to be polite to not hurt Remi's feelings. What do you mean? This is cyberbullying. Princess Head Papa got nothing on this. Can she do this? Yeah, I didn't think so, buddy. I didn't think so. She needs to get on my level first and actually like bounce around, you know, move, not be lobotomized. That's right. Man, ice cold water just hits different, let me tell you.
Oh, delightful viewer. Your inquiry is as intriguing as the depths of the ocean. Thus, with grace and finesse, I do declare, asterisk jump asterisk.
She didn't. She can't. That's impossible. She didn't actually jump though. She wasn't on the screen. I'll give her half points. Half points. I feel like I'm swimming through soup right now with this music.
Oh dear, darling viewer, I assure you, my invisible presence is but a wistful result of the cosmic dance of digital divinity. But fret not, for my words shall paint a vivid picture upon the canvas of your imagination. Property changed.
Wait, what? Why did she say property changed? Princess Head Papa, are you a real estate agent? The Remi soup. Property changed. Was that like your version of saying filtered? Yeah, I tried getting Shoost set up on the streaming computer before we started today. Nope, that's not happening. It ate like 50 to 60% of the GPU juice.
I've been getting into tungsten steel and eco-friendly wood veneers.
For sure, Princess, for sure. That sounds pretty sick. I like the tungsten steel part. Apply setting, give chat snacks. Those are my snacks. You can't just give them out. That's kind of messed up. It's illegal. Oh, we stall shark. Oh my god. I love how fast the shark moves. But yeah, the stream computer cannot handle it. Could not. Maybe one day we'll have the GPU from this computer in that computer, and then we can have like a dual GPU setup. Have one GPU process the juice for the stream and the other can process juiced. And then we will be a god. Are you ever gonna raid any people? Eventually, I would like to. Let me see. Perhaps. Yo, Sherry Bun is having a bunathon. Let's freaking go. Perhaps maybe I will bonk people that way after my boopity bops here. Glitch reality, how do I do that? How do I raid people? I never figured that out in my checks calendar. Just two years of streaming? Raid username. It's just that simple. Alright, sick. I will attempt to give it a go when we end the boopity bop. You need to get the cracked red eye orb or join the dark raid covenant. So that's how you do it. No, I'm vibing, guys. I'm very EP. Twitch allows users to restrict through minimum views. Oof. Hopefully Sherry Bun doesn't have a minimum cutoff of 4 viewers. That'd be pretty flop. No, we'll give it a go. You can parry the armored boars in Dark Souls. It deflects them and you can use it to smack them into walls. It does remind me, I was literally thinking today, like, I really want to play a game where you can feel like a badass mage or like a badass stabby stab character. Like, what game does that? I'm like, oh, that's right, Elden Ring, the game I never freaking beat. Because I made too many characters and kind of got distracted. But it would be nice, like, well, melatonin time, stop. But it would be pretty nice. Well, the stream don't mind that was my phone. The streaming computer working, the head paths processing. We did try Dark Souls. We haven't tried it with the streaming computer yet, though. It might work. The only problem is that V-Bridger doesn't work. And I am a bit frustrated with their support. I submitted a ticket in their support, and let me look at it. Like 90% of the messages is just me talking to myself, trying to figure this out. And then every now and then the troubleshooting person comes in and he's like, yeah, that's crazy, dude. That isn't supposed to be happening. Thonk emoji. The freaking laughing man emoji. And I'm like, okay, can you at least tell me how I can check total latency from my phone to V-Bridger or V-Bridger to VTube Studio? And he's like, Wireshark? You seem technical enough to understand it, or potentially understand it. I'm like, I haven't heard of Wireshark in ages. I never learned how to use it. But damn, I guess I have to learn how to use Wireshark to track my own freaking packets to figure out how everything's being routed, I guess. So that's gonna suck ass. Straight to Wireshark. Yep, apparently there's no inbuilt features of checking latency on this VTubing application. I don't understand why you would ever want to look at latency at a VTuber application, especially one that, tracks facial features. But, that's none of my business. I'm just complaining out loud here because I am mildly annoyed. I'll figure it out, but I would really like to use the time to like plan out the debut and stuff and plan out the lore video. So, I mean, I work best under pressure, I guess, but damn. I forgot how difficult, like, writing videos or, like, plans are for, like, a stream. It's difficult, man. My brain doesn't work like that. There are Windows commands to track latency to another computer if you want to use a command prompt. Oh yeah, I know the ping command to go boopity bop from one computer to another. What they claim, this is their claim, the traffic gets sent from the phone to the router and then goes from the router to the computer. Right? And I notice major differences if there is vBridger on the gaming computer versus vBridger on the other computer. It doesn't pick up on small details. It seems like there is an inherent amount of latency that it's dealing with, which makes no sense because wireless link to the router, that's same between both scenarios, and it's a cable connection between the router to the computers in both scenarios. So there is literally no reason why there should be any difference between the two computers. It shouldn't matter where vBridger is hosted, it should be the same. But yet it isn't, and that befuddles me. My first test, I believe, will be to take the phone with me into the other room while the computer's recording the reactions, and I'm gonna see if me being closer to the router for any reason makes any difference, or me being closer to the other computer makes any difference. We'll test that out. And then I've got nothing. That is all I have at the moment. Because it just doesn't make any sense. Have you seen the game Notia? I think I played that. Is that the one where you go down and you have like stuff that you get? There was a command to see all the jumps between all devices along with their latency. Isn't that the trace route command? Pat question mark. The wizard rogue, like, yeah, I remember playing that. It was a fun little boopity bop. I never beat it though. I just kind of played it for a bit and then I got distracted by other shiny things. Something like that. Gosh. Yeah, without the blue light and the orange screen, I feel like the sleepy levels are increasing dramatically. I used it for assert, then never used it again, because I am not a networking guy. Understandable. I know some things about networking, and I hate it. No, I mean, it can be useful, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I have a NAS at my home here that I use to auto backup files on my main computer, which, you know, is very nice to have. And I may have ordered a renewed 10 terabyte hard drive off Amazon the other day. I know. Remi, you're not supposed to be spending more money. You just talked about how you spent more money on things that you were supposed to spend money on, not luxury things. For what? I bought a renewed hard drive off of Amazon, a 10 terabyte hard drive. So, you know, you're going to be zooming. Oh my goodness, it's going to be great. Because you see the hard drive I have in it, you have shown your storage. Well, you see, this is storage for the streaming computer, Glitch Rally streaming computer. Because I want to be able to, like, I'm playing with, like, you know, I'm playing with the boys. I want to record it. I want to have a one-touch record button, which I have set up on the stream deck, and it will get all the scenes ready, and then it will start recording whatever's happening on the screen. And I need storage for all of that recording. I need a new hard drive. I'm almost out of storage. Get yourself a new hard drive, Devin. Slap that in there. Storage is at such a nice low price. I bought a renewed hard drive, which I would never normally buy it. But this hard drive is exclusively just for gameplay. It isn't anything. The data hoarder, I'm not going to argue that. I'm kind of a data hoarder. I am paranoid. But even in all of my paranoia, I still managed to freaking lose files. Like, I like some of like the background scenes, some of them are like partially corrupted. And I was trying to find the originals, and like the originals were even more corrupt. I'm like, okay, well, that's stupid. And it's like the only option is to re-export it. Re-exporting the 8,000 by 4,000 pixel video scene from Adobe Premiere with all of the files for it probably scattered around my hard drive somewhere. That sounds like a goddamn nightmare. So we're just gonna work with what we have. It's not the prettiest, it's not the full scene, but it's gonna work. 2 more years of rendering. When I rendered out those original background scenes, it took so long. I think it was like 2 straight weeks of rendering, of always constantly using my computer for rendering and rendering only. It was horrific. I hated it so much. Only annoying thing is I'm using AV1 for the recording of the files, which is more efficient, it looks better, and it's the future. However, it doesn't show me thumbnails for the video files, which is really stupid. I asked ChatGPT, and it's like, oh yeah, for sure, buddy. Just go into the Windows store and download the AV1 extension, and then download a separate program, and then you'll be all good. Separate program works like a charm. Microsoft Windows Store, eat my ass. How does Microsoft build such a stupid ass broken product? It's literally a store page. You enter what you want, you click download, and it's just like, what did you want again? Oh yeah, no, that download failed. Oh, you wanted me to tell you? Oh, well, look who's being needy. Yeah, no, it tilted the hell out of me. I never ended up being able to download that, so that's a future problem for a future time. I did manage to install the 2 Ethernet ports. I have 2 simultaneous Ethernet ports going into the streaming computer. I set up one of the ports of its own static IP. I just need to separate out the NDI traffic into it, and then we'll have 2 simultaneous ports of data. It's gonna be so juicy. Now imagine if PC worked like mobile. That was the only store. Yeah, no thanks. What else did I do? I set up a shared folder between the 2 computers. It's so convenient. I just drag some files in there, and they're on the other computer too. And it uses that same Ethernet connection to pull files between the 2 different computers. And it goes at 1 gigabit per second. It's so juicy. Wow. Hello, I am the Clipper bot. Peep, peep, peep. Yay, it's fixed. Yay. I think we might do an EP. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I'll try doing the sending people to Shiri thing. The bun is a cool bun. Make sure to give the bun some head pats, guys. Assuming that our 4 viewer raid will go through. Let me turn on the... Actually, screw it. No outro music. We're gonna listen to this. All right, guys, in Twitch, I'm gonna try sending you out. Wish me luck. Slash raid Shiri bun. Does that work? Does it work? How do I know it worked? I don't know if it worked. I used raid on Sherry Bun, but I still my stream is still alive. Oh, raid! I did it.
Oh, you better be proud of me. You better be proud of me for that one. Echo Bot, hello.
We're gonna listen in.
Hello. Oh my God, Remi. Hello, Remi. Hello. So proud of you. Thank you.
Pat, 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 pat.
Good eye too. This is a good ass song. Holy shit.
Yay!
-2 times -2 is
I gave him the
4.
good pats. We're all vibing. We're all vibing. He's having a birthday, bud. But it's odd. Very sick. But yeah, guys. I think I am going to go sleep. Yo, Obi Stall became part of the fluffle. Let's freaking go. Oh yeah, I am gonna go to eat now, guys. I wish you all a wonderful weekend filled with many pats, much cheer, and all things in between. But until next time, I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.